G'day guys. Well, I'm heading into Launceston, and I've got a dental appointment today, so we're going to do a little bit of shopping as well. And I've got my son with me. Say g'day.
G'day.
He's Jesse. Anyway guys, I want to have a talk. I've just actually having a talk to my son, and I thought, look, I had the camera in the car and I'll put it on, and I want to talk about the biggest battles I've had with the car has been heat. When you start pushing your car hard, what do you generate? And that's heat. And it's been a constant #1 battle through the whole build in the last 4.5–5 years is combating heat. You know, right through from transmission through to engine, brakes, tyres, just the whole range. You know, it crops up and accelerates itself, and that's been the biggest challenge to date, has been trying to keep the heat at bay so you can keep that elevated level of pressure around circuit racing. And it hasn't been an easy feat, guys. It really hasn't. For example, you know, I had a lot of issues to start with the intercooler in front of the radiator, and not getting enough airflow through the radiator. You know, that's taken me a few years to really nut that out and understand what needs to happen for the radiator to work efficiently. You need massive amounts of airflow through it, because when you look at the radiator straight on, there's only small slots of holes, so you've really got to create a fair bit of pressure to force through the CFM flow to make it efficient. And that's been a real big battle for me to get rid of heat through there by getting rid of the intercooler, which allows a lot more cold air, and ducting it and sealing all around the edge around the support panel. And then you have to be mindful, okay, once you get the air in, you've got to get rid of it too. There's no point having a similar pressure either side, like upstream and downstream from the radiator. So you have to sort of create a low pressure zone in your engine bay. So you've got to start opening things up in there and making it easy for the air to escape out. So that was a huge challenge, guys. But you know, I've overcome that, and it's been a very good, successful mod, all that. Now the engine too, aside from the cooling, has been the actual combustion process. Now that's been something that's the radiator, the engine, the water that's through the cooling system, I should say, really doesn't impact on your combustion. So by adding that water methanol, that's actually cooled the cylinder temperatures down quite significantly. And that's why, guys, when I was running around there the other day, the last few times I've been, or a couple of times since I've tested that water meth, the car doesn't want to build heat. Now it's because of that water methanol, which is quenching the explosion that happens in the cylinders. So we're getting a cooler bang, and so that in turn keeps the engine a lot cooler. So we're not having to worry about trying to get rid of heat out of the cylinders, which now the water meth is doing that. Coupled with the more efficient cooling of the engine, it's a win-win. We've really combated that issue that has plagued me for a long time. The transmission, now of course once you amp power levels go up, that sort of has a flow-on effect. now that I've added a deeper sump, a cast aluminium sump or aluminum sump, finned, which holds, I think from memory, another, I think it was 1.5 litres of transmission fluid. So I've got more storage now that, and a decent cooler, which really helps. So that's sort of combated that problem that, well, I've isolated that from the engine, because originally though I had the transmission lines running through the radiator, which you don't really want. You want to sort of keep it separated. I've had to add a power steering cooler which, of course, turning hard all the time, high revs, you know, on the pump creates heat. So I've had to add a cooler to that. Now, it all just, everything seems to get hot. Everything seems to just go on an elevated level. The brakes, for example, you know, by going to bigger brakes, that sort of takes the pressure off, the operating pressure off your disc brakes. So at the minute, I'm not having to add ducting to the front of the brakes. I seem to be getting away with it, but I do run a decent set of brakes on the front. But on the back is another story. Because I'm still running the drum brakes, guys, I've had to mod that to cope with the extra stress of braking by drilling the holes in the drums, going to a really high quality shoe and drilling some holes in the backing plate to allow for more airflow. And that seems to really work at the moment. I'm really pleased with the results on that. So there's a lot of little things that you've got to do to really have to have success, guys, to enable you to be reliable and have a competitive car. And that's what it takes. It really takes, there's a lot of detail that goes into a race car, guys. And it's not just sort of one thing, power, brakes, tyres. It's a multitude of a lot of little things to make the car as a whole perform unbelievably. And I think too that ignition box, that's heat related. I can bet you my bottom dollar on that one. And now that I've done the modding, I'll show you that too in another vid, guys, that I've done the modding on it. That will really keep heat under bay, keep the ignition happy. So I just thought I'd share that with you guys. I'm just cruising along, you know, heading into town, and yeah, it just came to me, and I hope you're really learning and understanding all this sort of stuff that I'm throwing out there, because what I'm doing is actually really working well. So it's not as if it's just pie in the sort of sky stuff that I'm just babbling on. I'm backing it up with facts, with proof, and you know, and if you've got struggles with your own car, well, just, you know, you've only got to listen to what I'm saying, and it might help you along your journey of improving your bus and turning your bus into a bit of a beast as well, guys. Alright, well, I'm heading into town now. I might call it a day on the vid. I'll put up them other action ones soon, and I'll probably end up doing a 3 or 4 part series on that car, you know, with the specs, because it's turning out I'll be there for hours gaffling on about it, and I might even lose my voice. So I might do a 4 or 5 part thing on it, and I'll keep it all sort of in the links, you know, in the headings, and we'll do an engine breakdown and transmission, sort of all drive line, all that sort of stuff, and the fuel system again, and the electrical, the ignition system, suspension, all that. And it'll be very interesting because it's all sort of tinkered with. There's nothing really standard on it. Like I said, it's all in the detail, guys. So it'll make for some very interesting videos and a lot of information to come your way. Alright guys, well, I'll put one up soon. I'll catch you later.